Sennelier oil pastels are incredible, but also incredibly expensive. This is a deep dive into every set and color currently available by Sennelier as oil pastel sticks. There is some confusing information out there, and this way you know exactly what you are spending your money on. I'll go into themed sets, universal color sets. We'll also take a look at the full set of 120, as well as the wooden box set. And for each set, I'll tell you whether I think it's a good choice or not. Before we begin, there are some special things about Sennelier oil pastel sticks that you should know about. Some of the translations of the names of the sticks are outright wrong, and they also changed up the number system, I believe a decade or so ago, and there are still sets out there with the outdated information on it. Now let's take a look at the themed oil pastel sets. Themed sets have a collection that enable you to paint a specific motif very well. The color range is assorted to this specific need. The smallest themed sets are quite new and they contain only 6 sticks. We have a set for roses, pears, and a boat scene. The roses set contains greens, pinks, and reds. The still life pear set comes with greens, ochre, and yellows. The boat set offers blues, greens, and white. If you want to get to know Sennelier sticks with the smallest set possible, and these are available to you, go for these. Don't go for the universal 6-stick set I'll talk about in a minute. The universal color sets all build upon each other, and you will always have these 6 universal colors twice. It'll make sense later, I promise. So if you want a small set, go for one of these. The next larger sets that are themed are 24-stick sets, and there are 3 of those as well. We have a portrait set. This one started my personal oil pastel journey with Sennelier. It was the first Sennelier set I got. And I have a deep dive on this one where I review it and give you some tips on how to make it an even better set. I'll link it in the corner and in the description. Of course, we have a lot of flesh tones in this set, and all in all, I'd say this is a great portrait set if you're just starting out. You also get lots of colors in this set that you would otherwise not get. Therefore, I was very happy that I started with this set and then build upon it with the larger one. If you want to be able to paint people of lots of different skin tones though, I'd recommend you go watch the deep dive video. We continue with the still life set. We have shades of brown and grey, and notice how they have reddish undertones, which we often find in the shadows of still life. At first, I thought this is a nice set, but I would have kicked one of these two, one of these browns, and one of these darker shades to introduce a brighter yellow shade as well as a more saturated green. But you get lots of colors in here that you otherwise do not get, so it's a good set to build upon as well. The third themed 24 set is the landscape set, and of course it has lots of greens and brown shades. I personally am not the biggest landscape painter, so maybe if you are, you can weigh in on how this set is faring. The first impression I get is a solid one. The shades are warm and varied, and I think you'd have a good time with this one. If you are a landscape artist, let me know what you think. A reason I like this set also is because I can, off the top of my head already, pinpoint 3 colors that are rare. 242 and 212 are only in the still life and the 120 full set, and 204 is only in the 120 set. Therefore, another good set to build upon. Now let's take a look at the universal color sets. The smallest ones out there are 6 and 12 sticks, and these are labeled by Sennelier themselves as Get to Know Me sets. I honestly can't see someone getting these unless they are much cheaper than individual sticks or you don't have any other sets available. I'd always recommend getting the themed 6-stick set or skipping the 12 set and going for a 24 themed set. But for the sake of completion, here is the 6-stick and the 12-stick set. These are the colors you would receive in the universal set. When arranged in color families, we can spot a trend that'll run through every Sennelier set. they have a bias towards blue colors. I'll point it out later as well. The next bigger one is the 24 stick set, which I still wouldn't recommend, but these are the 12 additional colors you will receive in this set. Now, the 48 set is where I personally say we can truly paint and achieve amazing paintings with this. There are a lot of muted shades introduced, but again, you can absolutely tell that they have this bias towards blue colors, which I personally don't use that much. This is also the first time that flesh tones are introduced. If you want to paint portraits, I'd say either get the portrait set or start with the 48 set, because you will not be happy with the 24 universal stick set. It's also the first time there is violet introduced. And something I want to point out is that there are a lot of brown tones. With this set, you'd be able to paint landscapes and some portraits. I believe some shades are missing if you want to paint truly realistic. The Naples yellow is very good for highlights. I often use it. And these brown and muted shades are what makes this set very versatile, in my opinion. The next biggest set, and the biggest one available in a carton box, is the 72 stick set. As I was arranging these colors, I noticed that there are 73 colors. There was one too many. And after painstakingly going through every color, I realized that they must have somehow skipped Delft Blue. If we believe the information I have from my retailer, there is no Delft Blue in the 72 stick set, which is pretty unique. Up until then, every single stick that is in the smaller set was in the next larger one, because they are building upon each other. We get even more blue shades, and the first turquoise is introduced. And we also see more variation in the reds, because I personally can't tell that much of a difference between these reds that are in the 48 set. We get some purple, pinkish colors and a bordeaux. I arranged the 72 stick again fully by color families, and I'll take my hands away for a second if you want to pause and take a good look at the colors that are in there. This to me is an absolutely incredible color selection. I love that there are so many muted colors, muted greens, violet shades, the one in the center, the very lowest row, violet ochre, the grays, and the yellowish and reddish browns. I highly recommend this set. I think you can do no wrong with this one, and you will have an amazing time painting. If you can afford it, go for this one. Maybe you have full set syndrome though, or you just want to know what you are missing out on if you don't get the 120 full set. So let's take a look at the colors you will receive in the 120 set. From here to the right are all the colors you don't have in the 72 set that will come in the 120 set. On top of that, there are also the iridescent colors, which we will take a look at in a second in this 120 set, as well as a transparent medium. It's just a transparent stick that will help you blend colors. They have these incredible muted colors in almost every color family that really help you achieve realistic paintings. You can tell Sennelier designed these with oil paints in mind, and they deliver a unique color range that is a joy to paint with. There are 6 sticks I don't own, well 8 in total, but 6 of these are new and I have no use for them and no intention of getting them. But I still want to mention there is a 6 set of neon colors now available. We have neon yellow, orange, pink, violet, green and blue. You can buy this as a 6 stick set, and I am fairly certain that they will quality-wise be as good as the other sticks, and if that's something you're looking for, you might want to check those out. Another 6 set special is the iridescent colors. Iridescent? Well, they are shiny and you can get them in either a 6 or a 12 stick set. Let's take a look at the colors. I believe I also swatched them in another video, which I'll try to find and link in the corner. This is the color range you receive in the 6-stick set. And then in the 12-stick set, there is also black and white included. So if we're being honest, it's a 10-stick iridescent set. But quality-wise, there is nothing that comes even close. Even the Caran d'Ache, gold, bronze, and silver pale next to these. I made these swatches maybe 2 years ago, and they are still shimmery and shiny as ever. But they are even shinier if you just applied them. Something I can truly recommend. They are very unique and high quality. There are also Sennelier Oil Pastel sticks in wooden boxes available. There are pros and cons about this. First, let's talk about what is good about those. You will need some kind of storage for your oil pastels. Of course, you can store them in your carton box if you get another universal set, but as soon as you buy even one individual color, you will have to think about the way on how to store it. I made a video about my storage, but that is only suitable because I don't take them outside. I don't do plein air paintings, at least not now. And one of these wooden boxes is even advertised as a plein air painting set. In my mind, it is slightly more convenient than taking your carton box with you, I guess. But to me, it does not justify the cons of the wooden boxes, the biggest one being the price premium. But let's take a look at the colors and see if that premium is worth it. Oh, one more thing. The only way I am aware on how to purchase the full set, the 120 set we just talked about, is in a wooden box. I have yet to encounter the 120 set in a carton box, and I believe this is the only way. But feel free to let me know if you saw it out in the wild in a carton box. Let me arrange this plein air landscape wooden box set for you. The only 6 colors of the 24 landscape set are in there. I thought it would add on top of the 24 set, which you can see on the left, but it doesn't. That is a crazy, crazy set. So this one is the 36 universal set, and I think it's the coolest one I encountered so far. It includes 2 iridescent colors, white iridescent and gold pearl, as well as the 2 colors I don't have. Let's take a look again. The first one is pinkish shade number 95, cobalt violet hue. The other one is 43 cobalt green light, which I didn't buy because it looks exactly the same like this barite green. And let me just rearrange that. They would sit here and here. I like this one a lot. The next bigger wooden box is the 50 set. You can clearly see what I was talking about in terms of the blues being overrepresented. 12 of the 56 are blue. That's too much blue. A very unbalanced set in my opinion, nothing I'd recommend. I did not expect to dislike these wooden sets so much. If you have any questions at all about these sets, let me know. I love myself a good research session. I researched so much for these. I also made you an Excel list if you want to compare which colors you will receive in which. Everything is in the description. Let me summarize real quick what I learned from reviewing these sets and what I believe to be a good choice of sets for you. If you want to get the smallest set possible, and it is available to you, then get one of the themed 6-stick sets. If they are not available to you, then you might want to consider to get one of the 24 themed sets if you have the opportunity to buy one of those and have the disposable income. If you already know you love the Senneliers and you want to really invest, I believe the 72-stick set is incredible. And your money is better spent on getting this and then some sticks individually rather than getting the 120 wooden box set. That is unless you know you really want the iridescent colors as well. If you want the iridescent colors, go get the 120 set. And don't you dare feel bad about it. We all need to have something we enjoy. That's it. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.